Modern- Welcome to this training. The topic of this talk is Modern Life is Making You Weak, and here is how to escape. So, let's just start with the life of the modern man. Let's look at his typical day. Now, he wakes up in a climate controlled room and slurps down coffee, medicates himself, then he goes to work. He probably drives or takes a bus or takes a train, something resembling a cattle car. He sits at a desk under fluorescent lights, types away at a computer, probably doing mundane tasks. Whenever he's hungry, he orders food from an app. It's processed food, it's garbage. And then he spends more hours staring at a screen. Entertainment is instant, he never gets bored, but there's a sense of lethargy. Maybe he does go to the gym, but whenever he does, he's wrapped in synthetic fabrics. He's performing repetitive movements. Now, this is not the life of a man with agency. This is the life of cattle that is being raised. And this all begs the question: what happens to men when you remove every single physical demand from his life? Now, modern life has become easier than ever, but that's not the problem. The problem is that we've confused comfort with progress. Compared to the past, today we walk everywhere. Compared to the past, when we had to walk everywhere, we were carrying everything by hand, hunting or gathering food. After that, we began farming. Physical defense was necessary. There was no such thing as air conditioning or electric heating. And you experienced regular periods of hunger. Now, our bodies haven't really evolved that much in the last, you know, 50,000 years, but the environment has. So we've really created an environment that's not suited to our physiology. And this creates a paradox of convenience. We've had this sort of Pyrrhic victory. We've spent thousands of years trying to make life more convenient, and we have succeeded drastically. We don't walk, we drive. We don't carry things, we use machines. We don't cook, we order food. We don't seek out entertainment, it seeks us out. We don't even think anymore. Media and AI does it for us. Now, this is a problem because discomfort is how we develop capacity. And if you never struggle, you never discover what you're truly capable of. Now, let's just examine where we're at today a little bit more. Everybody has a sedentary lifestyle. The ideal life is working remotely, sitting on a beach somewhere, sitting in a cafe, typing away, maybe working in tech, or you own your own business. Now, practically, this just translates into sitting in meetings, sitting at a desk, sitting in front of a computer, or sitting in front of a car, just sitting, sitting, sitting. This is a very newfangled way to live. Now, while we might be successful in business, it comes at a very steep cost. Even when we have that ideal life of owning our own business or, you know, cushy, comfortable job, it really does cost us something else because we cannot separate physical and mental existence. The body is intimately connected with our mind. It's the foundation from which other ambitions develop. Now, besides our sedentary lifestyle, we have food abundance. For most of human history, food required effort. You didn't just walk to the fridge and slug down whatever you wanted to eat. You had to either gather it, hunt it, or grow it. Now, food is everywhere, right? You can go to the convenience store, you can just type away on your phone, get whatever you want delivered to you at any hour of the day. So we've created a food system that uses maximum calories for minimal effort. As a result, the body becomes soft, and we ourselves become dependent on modern systems to deliver sustenance because we're no longer capable of procuring our own food. Now, we also have the death of boredom and creativity. TV, phones, and video games permeate life. Algorithms are designed to keep us consuming as much media as possible. As a result, people go outside less, they socialize less, and they create less. We've essentially uh, created like a golden prison for ourselves with technology where we're no longer learning how to socialize. And because of this, our social skills and risk tolerance atrophy. We're no longer willing to have difficult conversations, uh, take risks in terms of our career or social moves. We go on fewer adventures. We engage in fewer long-term projects that don't have an instant gratification element to it. So all of these habits, we lose these habits due to the influence of instant entertainment culture. And there's also several hidden sources of weakness that don't get talked about enough. One of these is exogenic hormone disruptors. Things like the chemicals in receipts. You touch the receipts and they have very strong hormone disruptors in them. Have you ever seen somebody who works at a convenience store? They always look very like husks. It's because they have very disrupted hormones because they've been touching receipts all day. Same thing, chemicals in cosmetics and foods. You slather on the sunscreen, and the sunscreen has benzene products. So you're essentially putting processed oil on your skin. Same thing, foods. Bleached flour and seed oils and these sorts of things. Terrible for our oxidative processes. Terrible for mineral absorption. And even whenever you try to eat healthy, like fruits and vegetables, modern fruits and vegetables have far less nutrients than those in the past because they're grown in barren soil. So that's one major source of weakness. Another one is just our general artificial environment. The lack of sunlight, which leads to vitamin D deficiency, which leads to a compromised immune system, and again, also compromised hormone balance. High CO2 concentrations. When you're stuffed into a room with poor ventilation or in a city with tons of traffic and they level down all the trees to concrete over everything, then you have higher CO2 concentrations. It's harder to think, harder to concentrate. Similarly, volatile chemicals leach from things like concrete, synthetic fabrics that are households. So you essentially have the buildings that we create are destroying the air around us. Not a very good situation. And finally, just the feminized culture. We have a culture that prioritizes helplessness over competence. And that's why you see so many young people today who default towards um, mental illness, let's just say that, because they've adapted to a culture in which crying for help gets rewarded rather than displaying competence. So, those are a few of the paradoxes of convenience. Now, comfort really is sort of a deathbed, it's really a trap. Mass weakness serves the social order. Uh, the ruling class wants workers and consumers. The system sustains itself off the effort of the masses of people who don't question the whys, who don't ask whys, and don't attempt to build an alternative rooted in personal and community autonomy. Physically and mentally feeble people are easier to manage. Dependence is cultivated as a strategy to maintain power. And beyond the factors we've already discussed, this is also the impotence behind the Great Replacement. The ruling class cynically believes that hordes of third worlders on government assistance will be easier to control over the long term. Now, even without deliberate manipulation, humans naturally tend towards conserving energy, avoiding pain, seeking pleasure. This leads to a sort of natural entropy. Without constant conscious effort and a decision to grow, the default trajectory is towards weakness and decay. Greatness and orders Greatness and order are the exception, not the rule. Instead, mediocrity and disorder are the general condition of life. There's an important implication here. Most people don't actively choose to be weak, rather they simply stop choosing to be strong. But physical weakness is just a symptom. Uh, it's more about your approach to discomfort. Physical condition is downstream of your relationship to discomfort, discipline, and agency. Now ask yourself these questions. Do you avoid difficult things? Do you quit easily? Do you constantly seek comfort? Now, the way you treat your body is often a reflection of the way you treat your life. So you can pretty much instantly tell somebody's approach to life simply by the way they carry themselves, the way their physique is arranged. Now, the goal here is not necessarily just to have a great physique. That's a nice bonus. The goal is not even strength, it's really capability. So strength is great, but it's only one factor of capability. And aesthetics is great. A good physique has great value, but is merely the appearance of strength and agency, not the substance. But in terms of capability, that's what we're after here. A capable man can do many things. They can generate force, resist force, carry weight, move efficiently, strike accurately, endure fatigue, handle pain and discomfort, recover quickly, defend oneself, and protect others. Now, there are several other benefits of being capable, and we'll talk about those in a second. The first one is capability is simply a tactical virtue. It increases optionality, it expands agency, and it increases social value, basically the ability to contribute to group objectives. Now, there are additional blessings of capability as well. It leads to greater confidence. Now, modern society often treats confidence as something you either have or you don't. In reality, confidence is something you create through action. Whether you show up, whenever you show up, train, finish, grow, go further, go faster, and survive discomfort, you create evidence of your own capability. You don't simply believe you're strong, you create self certainty that you can handle any difficult task, any sort of uh, unknown that comes your way. A stronger body is more equipped to handle fatigue, injury, illness, stress, and sudden hardship. This matters because life is unpredictable. You don't train because you know what will happen in the future. Instead, you train because you don't know what will happen. And finally, being strong leads to respect. Capability gets noticed. People subconsciously associate physical competence with broader competence. Someone who demonstrates clear mastery over his own body also communicates self discipline, self control, general competence, and reliability. Conversely, people rarely respect a man who clearly cannot take care of himself. Fitness is a billboard you show to the world. It communicates your priorities and capabilities. Now, the physical conditions the mental. The goal here is ultimately to have a hard mind. Now, physical training teaches you to tolerate discomfort, to continue when motivation wanes, to delay gratification, to sustain effort when results aren't immediate. It teaches you to accept failure and bounce back after setbacks. So, embracing physical discomfort helps you embrace career uncertainty, social risk, creative endeavors, difficult conversations, and dangerous or stressful situations of all type. There's a direct correlation between risk and reward. By becoming willing to take risks that others won't, you open yourself up to opportunities that others don't receive. You meet more people, more importantly, you meet better people, and you encounter better opportunities. While most people are playing it safe and accepting mediocrity, you start to put yourself out there more and associate more with people who refuse to tolerate or entertain average. Now, we know that capability is important, but how do you get there? Here is the roadmap. Step one, start moving. Now, start small. Don't overwhelm yourself in the beginning. Choose something you can do and stick with it. Now, there's a lot of possibilities here. You can start running, swimming, combat sports, weightlifting, yoga or Pilates, even cycling, surfing, racket sports. Aim for something that combines movement with coordination. The point here is to start reconnecting with your body while building a routine of movement. Now, after that, build general fitness. Once movement becomes a habit, branch out. Focus on exercises that train the major pillars of fitness: strength, cardiovascular fitness, mobility, coordination, balance, and speed. Next, step three, train for function. Remember that you're training for capability, not simply strength. So embrace training that helps your body produce force, resist force, lift heavy, run fast, defend yourself, handle physical discomfort, and continue through fatigue. Finally, in a general sense, start to embrace the difficult way of doing things. Don't become the guy who takes the elevator to the gym. Look for opportunities to make your life slightly harder. For example, walk instead of drive, take the stairs, spend time outdoors, talk to strangers, cook your own meal, read instead of scroll. A person who leads a life without difficulty becomes a person who crumbles under difficulty. This is the fate of so many people in modern society, but not you if you start today. Now, the big picture here. We have minor goals in terms of physicality. Things like getting abs or impressing women, looking good at the beach. Now, all of these things are great, but they're ultimately secondary. The real objective here is to take care of yourself, to protect others, to endure hardship, take responsibility for yourself, and to pursue larger goals. And ultimately, we want to pursue this, which is agency. You want to save some If you want to save something bigger than yourself, you must first take responsibility for yourself. Now, we live in a society where the plane is going down, metaphorically speaking. The engine is on fire. The ground is approaching fast. You need to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you start assisting the person next to you. So, becoming strong is about becoming hard to control. And becoming hard to control is required if you want to rescue your culture. So, in closing, this is all bigger than fitness. This is getting fit is more than just transforming your body. It's about transforming your capability, mindset, and ability to influence those around you. It's about becoming someone different than what modern society would have you be. Now, you don't need to become a professional athlete, and you don't need to spend your entire life in the gym. But you do need to embrace discomfort, become more capable, and expand your agency. Now, it's all about resisting the default because the world wants you to sit, consume, be dependent, and obey. If you want to resist, start with your body. Become stronger, become faster, learn to fight, learn to endure. Building a hard body builds a hard mind, and that is the first step of breaking free. Now, if you enjoyed this talk, please subscribe. I'm going to put a link to my most recent book, High Agency. It's all about taking control of your own life so that you can start to influence the environment around you. If this is something you're into, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the video, and I will talk with you soon.